Okay, so Fabish, maybe
Yes.
if you'll start by maybe introducing yourself before we go to the discussion.
Yes. So my name is Fabishmak. I am the host of the Fabishmak podcast. And I'm also a member of Fireside Interactive Platform. I have a show called Everything Every Day on Fireside with Fabishmak.
Okay. So today we want to discuss something little about mental health and decision making process. So what will be um your short description about what mental health is in your own understanding, maybe?
Yes, good question. I think mental health is the stability. Um, the I think it's like the range of stability of somebody's thoughts, and how it affects their daily lives.
Okay. And how do you understand? Because decision making is quite bigger because we are discussing about mental health versus decision making. So, what are maybe the kinds of maybe the determining factors as to why somebody should make a certain decision and leave the other one, like something like that?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question. Sometimes I think the biggest thing is the environment, because I think environment kind of decides what kind of decision somebody makes, and then
Mm,
um, the way somebody is brought up affects the way they see the world. So their worldview, um, grows or um, broadens according to how they were raised up. So like that's why there's a lot of difference in world order. Like in Asia, for example, and in like the Arabian world, people are brought up in the Muslim culture, and so that is the way they make decisions. That's how like their mentality is. So your environment and the way you were brought up really, really affects how you see things and how you make decisions. Um, Another thing is like I think the amount of relationships you have with people also affects how you make decisions. So like if you are lonely, you will always make decisions for yourself. But if you're with people, you will tend to make decisions that favor other people too.
all right. So there are quite a number of factors that will make somebody make a decision in regards to mental health. Okay, when will you consider maybe somebody is not stable mentally, or maybe if you see somebody make a certain decision, you'll say maybe this person made this decision in hasty or something, or maybe he didn't make it in his stable mind or in his stable reasoning, kind of.
I think it's very easy, but also very difficult, and I think that's why some people end up, taking their own life, and um, we don't know because it's so hard to, um, unless you're keen, it's very hard to know. Like every situation is different, so it's a case by case basis where some people, you will never know what they're thinking unless they talk about it. Some people have a very irregular pattern of behavior, and some are too loud, some are quiet. So it is very hard to know unless you poke at the person. So like there's people that if they're angry, they'll keep quiet. There's people that if they're angry, they will damage things. There's people that if they're angry, they will start crying. And so you might mistake one for another. You might think somebody's happy because they're laughing, but actually they're just so tired with the world. And so it is so hard to pinpoint who has at least in this world. And then it's so fake also because like we have social media, so a lot of things are posted um, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and like social media, it tends to portray a very specific kind of lifestyle. So people like to talk about things that are fake and things that they want people to see. So they don't really talk about their true self. And so at the end, somebody ends up suffering by themselves because they don't really share how they feel or what's going on. And I think that's the biggest reason why it is so hard to pinpoint people who are suffering um, with mental health issues.
All right. Maybe let me say like okay, these are a very real scenario. Like for example, if you are a teacher in a school, and then one kid comes to you, she's pregnant, and then she's a lady. She comes to you. You are the class teacher, so she comes to you and tells you, "Teacher, you know I'm pregnant." And then you are so sure that if you conceal these details to the management of the school, this girl will be sent away from school. And again, when you don't conceal the details to the administration, you also risk losing your job. So in such a scenario, it's a two-case scenario where you are you're lied in the middle, like you don't know what you should do, because now you don't know what to, if you're gonna help the girl, you might lose your job. If you report the issue to the administration, the lady might lose the job. Perhaps maybe they are the only light in their family. So in this scenario, how would you handle such a situation? Maybe.
I think, you know, every like to get number one, to get to such a position means something is wrong somewhere. Um, People should not be discriminated or treated wrongly just because they made a mistake. Um, so, which means what the organization is trying to say is that a person in authority can do what they want, but a subject cannot. And so, what if that the girl that you're talking about, that was her decision, that's what she wanted. And so sometimes, you know, people should sit down, organizations should sit down and try and figure out possible problems that might like they troubleshoot. So they should try and figure out all kinds of possibilities or problems that might arise and write down rules and laws and steps to take so that everybody knows what to do. But when when like when such a situation arises in the school, there should be some rules and regulations that should favor both parties and be just, so that everybody ends up, being responsible and being treated as it should. But like, if such a body doesn't have proper rules, nobody sets the standards, then you know it might not. You might find yourself either like if it's such an organization that there's no rules, I think the best thing to do in that situation is ask yourself who is the victim. It's not the school, it's the girl. So I think it ends up being better to try and put her needs first before choosing the school, because the school is going to be there, but she's going to suffer. So one way or another, it's just better to try and make sure that um, she's taken care of, I think.
Okay, maybe for a series of times, I know maybe you have been linked maybe to a situation where you decided to take one decision and forgot the other, and maybe you feel like though I left the other choice, or maybe I left the other decision, I feel like I chose this decision, but the other one will be better. So in a situation where you find yourself maybe regretting, because maybe in a situation where you're confused, because confusion is also part of mental health, where you don't have steady reasoning and steady part of the brain that will control how you make decisions. And then you come to a place where you regret the choice you made, or like you say, I wish I made this choice. I wish I made this choice. Like, how would you? What will be your advice for somebody who makes a decision and then they start regretting about it? After regretting about it, they develop stress, then they develop trauma, then this one results to something else. Now it becomes a very big mental issue. You know?
Yeah. Somebody once told me that in life, you can only deal with the present. The past cannot be solved, and the future has to be decided. But the present is there and there now. So if you made a decision and that decision seemed like a bad one right now, but at the moment it did not seem like a bad one, you can't go back and change it. So the best thing to do is find a way. If it brought problems, find a way to solve those problems. And then if everything seems wrong, if you hit rock bottom and there's nothing else you can do, the best thing to do is take one foot and put it in front of the other and just start moving. Just start going forward, because if you stay in one place and you become stuck, then that's the problem. But even when everything is wrong, when you're suffering so much, the best thing to do is to just move forward, keep moving, keep fighting, keep struggling, take each day as it comes. It might be tough, but just keep going. And then, one way or another, that is how you're going to move, because you can't change the decision. Yes, you can solve it. You can't go back and change it. So you move forward, you learn from your mistake, you accept your responsibility, you learn to forgive yourself, and you just keep going.
All right. So, could you please maybe, if you have an experience of imbalance, maybe you had a situation where there was imbalance between, maybe you had a problem in, maybe I cannot say extreme mental health issue, but maybe in your way, you'd say that there's a such and such a decision that I made, maybe, but I was not in my stable um, a mental condition, maybe, or maybe I just had some stress, but I had to make the decision.
Yes, mostly in high school. I did not like high school because of boarding. I did not like being at home. Sorry, at school. So most of the time, I did not
Mm.
enjoy school. So sometimes it was very hard because there was so much pressure. You're by yourself. There's nobody from home to help you, and you have to learn how to cope. And so during that time, I really really hated it. But as time went by, I learned to accept the situation and to move on. And just like that, like it started easy, no, it started hard, but it became easier. And I never felt sorry for myself. Like, if there's one lesson I can give somebody, one is that do not and never feel sorry for yourself. Because the moment you feel sorry for yourself and the moment you make yourself a victim, then you're going to start going down. That is the only way. Never feel sorry for yourself. You can do anything else. You can move forward. You can go back. You can fall, get up, and start moving. But do not start feeling bad for yourself. Don't start blaming situations. Don't start blaming people. That if this person will not have come, this will not have happened. If this will not have happened, blah blah blah. You'll just be suffering. And so try as much as possible. If you are wrong, accept it. Even if you don't tell other people, accept it. Tell yourself that yes, I'm wrong. And then from then you'll start seeing things. Even if other people don't know. As long as you know in your heart that you're right, then you don't feel sorry for yourself. You forgive yourself and you start moving forward. That's how I succeeded in high school. When I joined high school, I really hated it so much. But then I left high school as the head boy. Um, and even then, I did not really like high school. And I don't think I would have changed anything from that time because it taught me a lot. But that doesn't mean that there were times that were not tough, because you have to wake up in the morning, you have to do all these things. I did not like that. So I think at the end of the day, the best thing to do is to just, um, accept the situation first, forgive yourself, do not feel sorry for yourself, and then start moving.
Okay, that was a very good explanation. And so, apart from that, if somebody is the people who are undergoing maybe serious mental issues, and maybe I can say the introverts who don't like talking about all their stuff, or maybe the extroverts who talk a lot and tend to say, maybe if I talk a lot, I'm going to forget about the issue I'm passing through in the brain, or maybe my mental condition. What will be your advice to somebody who is undergoing an imbalance between their mental health and the situation of decision making and the choices to make at some point? Like, what should be their process, or like, what should they take into consideration so that the decision they're going to make, they're not going to regret about it. But even if it's not the best decision, but at least it's somehow not going to lead them on the more negative side, but at least on the positive side in a way.
Um, yeah, uh, I don't believe that. Even introverts have friends. Everybody has somebody they trust, even a little bit. So if you have a problem, one, like I said, you have to tell yourself the truth. If you tell yourself the truth, then you'll know that some people enjoy the fact that they like being quiet, and I think that is wrong. Um, I think being quiet is okay, but if you take pride that I'm a quiet person, then there's a problem. If you enjoy and you're like, yeah, I don't share with other people, then there's a problem. Um, so the best thing to do is, everybody there's family members, there's friends, all types of people you can talk to. So if you have somebody, and you feel like, yeah, this person is one person I can share with, talk to them. If they can't help you, ask them to find somebody that can help. And if that is hard, then nowadays there's organizations that help people. You can call, you can talk. There's thousands and thousands of organizations that are there to help people. You don't have to say your name, you just have to go and share. That's all. But if you are quiet, then it's your fault. It's not anybody's fault. Never say that it's somebody else's fault. It's your fault, it's your own body, it's your own mind. So you're the one that makes the decision to change, and you're the one that moves forward.
Okay, yeah, that was a very candid decision on the mental health versus decision making. We heard from Fabish Mark, who is also a host in Fabish Mark's podcast, and also which talks about the stories between Kenya and life out Kenya. And also that was a very good illustration and a very good discussion. I guess this information will go home to those who are battling maybe situations to do with mental health versus decision making. Maybe your last word before we wind up the session.
Yes. I would just like to encourage people to, I think human beings love praise. Human beings love to be adored and to be told, you're beautiful, all of that. But if somebody doesn't have that, there's one person that will never leave you, and that is God. And so stick to God first thing. If you don't believe in God, then I don't know. There's always a voice inside each and every one of us. Trust that voice. Trust your gut. And also, importantly, even a child can give you advice and it can help you. So do not overlook somebody because how small they are or how big they are. Everybody can help you or save you. So don't be discriminated. If you have a problem, then you don't get to choose who helps you or not. So in this life, if there's a problem and you're really suffering, first, accept it. Two, be open minded. Three, forgive yourself, trust in God, and then take one step and another step and another step, and just keep moving. You will get to where you are. And if it's not designed for you, then God knows your destiny, but you have to go there. You cannot stand and stop and stay in one place.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And I guess the information is going to reach many people. So I'm just appreciative for taking your time, and may God bless you for that. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.